Welcome to Nah But For Real, where besties who heal together keep it real together. I am your co-host, Ali, and with me, of course, I have Jay. And so make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at NBFR Podcast. That will be on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest coming soon to a phone near you. So be on the lookout for that. And we'll go ahead and just jump into this week's icebreaker. So we're going to be talking about some loss. And one thing that I'm sure we've all done is lose our phones. So we thought that a fun icebreaker would be to use one sentence to describe a time where we lost our phone. And so I'll do the pleasure of going first, and then we'll hand it off to Jay just in case she needs a little moment. And so my sentence is my family was threatened to spend the duration of a cruise trip in boat jail. That's all I'm going to say. A time where I lost my phone, my family was threatened to go ahead and go to boat jail. Jay?
That's the consequence. Um, the time I lost my phone, although it was very brief, was the time I tripped over, as always, tripped over a median for cars, broke all my everything, drove off, and my neighbor had to bring my phone upstairs. Yeah, that was the worst about me. I lost my wallet also, but yeah, worst time I lost my phone. The most embarrassing time.
What was the
Worst
sentence?
impact.
It was supposed to be one sentence. What was this one sentence?
The sentence is I broke my shit over a car medium. Median, sorry, car median.
Let us know in the
Yeah.
comments if you want like a story time on either of those stories or both of those stories. So we'll say
Mine's
after.
not really a long story. Y'all won't wanna, but y'all gotta hear about boat jail because both of us were definitely impacted severely.
Let us know in the comments if you want to hear
Severely.
her little short story. Maybe we'll throw it on one of our social media platforms. Maybe we'll throw it on YouTube too. But a little short story on why my sentence is the sentence it is. I'll just leave it there. So losing our phones, we know that's a form of ambiguous loss. We're just gonna throw it out there. Like ambiguous loss, it's just losing something, someone. It's ambiguous. It can be
Yeah.
anything. So that could be a phone. That could be the loss of a person who is still alive. That could be yourself. And so that's mainly what we wanted to talk about today was pointing the ambiguous loss lens on that experience, kind of continuing on where we left off last week when we talked about like the change in ourself, how it was scary, spooky season, and now moving into the grieving of that self that once was. And so getting into that, thinking about how we change and with change is going to come that grief. What stage of grief were you in when you first realized, oh, I'm changing?
Um, for every change, I feel like I always realize during the bargaining phase. Whenever I start like comparing myself to like the old me or comparing myself to peers who appear they appear to be in a space that I would want to be in or that I once was in. So during that bargaining phase where like trying to change, I'm trying to bargain with myself, this is who you should be. This is where you should be. This is what it should be. I always realize that, oh shit, like I lost something and that something was myself. It's always when I realize it. Same time, same phase every time.
For me, it's the exact same stage, that stage of bargaining, ruminating, focusing so much on what could have been different, what should I do, or how should I have done this situation, and how I would have done it if I was
Hmm.
this older version of myself versus how I'm doing it now, and kind of looking at it that way. So definitely still being in that bargaining stage of, dang, like if I was this, then I would have done it that way. And I can't believe I did it this way. And what should I do? So yeah, definitely the same stage as you when it comes
Yeah.
to bargaining, being that stage. And I'm wondering for our listeners if you find yourself changing and you notice it, because our answer is the same. Now I'm wondering, is that gonna be the same for everyone?
Yeah,
Or are there people who notice that they're changing when they're feeling depressed? The depressive state came after the bargaining for me. Like,
same.
yeah. So we know
Yep.
that the stages of grief there, it's not linear. It's not like
Mhm.
you're gonna hit it at this. It's not like that. Like it's you could go from bargaining to be feeling depressed to being in denial to going back to bargaining. So for me, it will always follow up with that sense of depression. So I'm just wondering for our listeners, where were you at, or where are you at if you're even in that space right now when it comes to the grief process of yourself.
Mhm.
And so thinking about like you grieving yourself, you grieving this older version of who you once were, how did your world react to that change, that change of who you were?
Yeah. For the most part, we talked about it a little bit in the episode, prior to this episode when Alex like, yeah, Jay would disappear for 2 months. Like, I will just literally, y'all, I am a queen of disappearing acts. Like, I will literally just remove myself from everything because I do that because I don't want to put stress on other people around me. Like I said, I get comfortable when other people around me are comfortable. So I know that if I'm uncomfortable and I'm making everybody else uncomfortable, I'm going to be even more uncomfortable because then I'm going to have to deal with their comfortability, you know? So I'm just like, if I just remove myself, everything should be good, right? Wrong. So when I do that, then people respond obviously very negatively because they want their friend or family to be a part of their lives, you know, to move smoothly. And then they're going to have to adapt to change and grief themselves from me disappearing. So it ultimately, um, drastically changes my life around me because I disappear. So I would say that for the most part, people don't respond well because I am not at a point where I'm fully able to like grieve when I'm changing. Because I'm so worried about everybody around me still to this day. Like I still struggle with that. Like, but I am able to acknowledge that now. Like I'm at the point of my healing journey where it's like I know for a fact when I feel change coming along, and in order to try to make peace, I go and I run away from everybody to make sure that everybody's okay, but I'm starting to recognize it. It's like, that's real instead of like, you don't explain yourself, you just disappeared, then you're confused why everybody's confused and upset. Like, yeah, because you just left and they're grieving and they're angry and they're going through their stages of grief as well, with me disappearing. So that's how my environment reacts. Not positively because I don't always react positively to my own grief, you know, my own grieving.
Yeah. I'm sitting here thinking about it for myself, but it's like my answer is almost changing as I'm processing. So maybe I'm gonna be processing out loud for a little bit, but I'm gonna try to work through it as fast as I can. Because as you were mentioning that for myself, I started thinking about when I feel like I'm changing, I feel like the world is crashing down on me. So
Mhm.
maybe that is my answer, because thinking about like what my psychiatrist, I see a psychiatrist and a therapist, and thinking about what we talk about and how my sense of self is so connected to other people and my relationships with other people, to be more particular, my relationships with other people. If I feel like I'm changing, it threatens my relationships with people. And if that relationship is threatened, then it feels like my whole world is crashing down because I don't know how to cope through a relate. Because if I'm changing and my relationship's changing, it's just too much change. Like you said,
Yeah.
change is scary. So I would say that for me, in my eyes, the world is crashing down on me. But then I know that in others' eyes, it's more like some people are trying to take the be tough on me route, and like I don't know how to explain it.
Mhm.
It just from my point of view, maybe that's what I'll just leave it at that. From my point of view, it always feels like when I'm changing, my world is changing and everything is in shambles.
Yeah.
Everything's on fire. Everything's lit up.
Yeah. So like when you feel like the old you, when you're like starting to grieve the old you, you feel like that when the world around you starts to crash, or do you feel like people can't identify who you are anymore? So now your relationships are starting to crash? Is that?
It's yeah, to me that's
And
the same thing. What you just
yeah.
said sounded like the same thing. So yeah, I would say it's like when I notice that when I start to grieve like who I was, then I start thinking in my head like this person became my friend when I was this person.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I'm not that person, then why are they my friend now? Do they
Yeah.
feel like they have to be my friend because they've been my friend for so long? Do they feel obligated? And then I start to
Mhm.
like, it's like a downward spiral after that because now I'm so hyper focused on the thought that people are only trying to be my friend because they feel obligated.
Mhm. Or stuck to the old version of who you were.
Yeah, or they think
Yeah.
I'm gonna be that same person, but I know that that person is like long gone.
That makes but no, that's real because that makes, like, getting to, like, the acceptance part of grief very difficult because you're attached to who you were before, and that makes bargaining prolonged almost, and anger, because now you're, like, almost angry with the fact that you wanna change because other people you don't know if other people will accept it.
Mhm,
Even if you haven't talked to them, that's the crazy part. We just make these negative assumptions in our head, like, people won't accept me for who I am if I change because they accepted me when I was like this. So if I
mhm,
change, then they don't know this person. I have that really bad because, like you said, like I'm loyal to a fault, and I'm loyal to a fault with the person I am. Like I don't want other people to think that I'm gonna switch up. So I'll try to move cautiously with people who I'm around so that they don't think things are gonna, switch up on them because people don't like that. And I want to make sure people are comfortable with my presence and who I am. So yeah, sometimes I do feel like I'm stuck in that bargaining phase because I don't want to make other people around me uncomfortable, which really is making me it's really about me all in all because I don't know if I'm making them uncomfortable. It's not like I ask them. So yeah, it's really about when deep down inside it's about making me uncomfortable because I'm afraid what change will do or what grieving or leaving that old person will do
mhm.
for the people around me.
Yeah,
That
wow.
shit real.
That shit's real.
Real. Keep it real,
So,
real.
as we're talking about this change in ourself and knowing that this change in self, like I said, it's an ambiguous loss. Ambiguous loss is the loss of it could be anything. And so when you're changing and you're going through that loss, in order to be able to process, heal, overcome that sense of loss, it comes with growth. And we know that comes with growth. And so as we're talking about growth, for those who are listening to us, you know that, well, if you listened to us last week, you know that we are going to be doing the 14 Days of Magic Challenge starting today. And for those of you who didn't tune into last week's episode, or maybe you might have forgot, here's a quick refresher. So Jay and I are committing to becoming better versions of ourselves over the next 14 days. So that means that we are going to be taking a shot of our magic mind. Such a cute little bottle. It's literally it's a shot. It says shake, breathe, drink. So shake it, breathe, and drink. And then it says like matcha, boost your energy, antigens, helps you relax, nootropics keeps you focused, honey for happy vibes. And so this is the productivity shot. And so we both came up with 3 ways of which we would like to improve our mind, our bodies, and our soul using this product. And so, Jay, what are your 3 ways on how you are going to improve yourself over the next 2 weeks as we are doing the hashtag 14 days of magic?
Yes. So mind, body, and soul. I start off with the mind because, as we all know, number one, this is going to be helping our mind. So yeah, it's called Magic Mind. So I start with my mind, and something that I always kind of fall off of, and I'm hoping that this will keep me on track of, is learning another language. So I want to dedicate at least every day. I want to be able to watch, or I'm sorry, not watch, listen to one episode of a Duolingo podcast, which I've really like started to fall in love with because they tell like cute little stories. And if y'all know I'm a writer, I love stories. So love writing. I like kid stories, and that's what they tell. But it's in Spanish, well, kind of like Spanglish, so you can kind of pick it up. And because I like to travel, I feel like girl, you need to learn a language by now. Like, I'm okay with Spanish enough where I can order some food and I can go to the bathroom, but I really want to be able to like hold full conversations to get, to be able to talk to people when I travel, like really get to know the culture and stuff. And you got to start somewhere. So, dedicating the next 14 days for my mind to Duolingo podcast. For my body, it's something that's I'm already getting started on, y'all. I came prepared. If you know, you know. I got the braids in, which means I'm going back to the gym, y'all. Okay? So if you know, you know. I've been doing my hair for 3 days to get ready. So for the next 14 days, I want to make sure that I'm going to the gym 3 times every single week. At least 3 times in a week. So I got my hair braided. So y'all know you knew it's real. I'm keeping it real with y'all. And for my soul, something I started last week just a little bit, not in terms of like staying consistent, but just to see. And I'm like, yeah, this is going to be for my soul. Is waking up with the sun. I don't know if you all know, like, especially like living in North America as a whole, we don't get enough vitamin D. Which can lead to what a lot of us face now, like seasonal depression. It can lead to different bodily issues. It's just a lot. And I do take vitamin D supplements, but I feel like we were meant to wake up with the sun. That's literally what the sun is for. And all this blue light that we look at all day long, like our phones and our laptops, kind of messed that up for us. So I'm like, I'm going to do what my body intended and what my soul wants and needs. And I'm going to rise when it's time to rise. And I feel like that'll make for a very productive day along with taking my magic mind. Okay. So my body and soul, that's what I chose.
Okay. I like those goals, especially that very last one with waking up with the sun. Like, never even thought about that, but I can
Yeah.
see how it can help out with that your sleep, your clock, basically when it
Yeah.
comes to sleep
Right.
schedule. Okay. So for my mind, body, and soul, one of my biggest things is consistency right now.
Mm-hmm.
And with that consistency is going to come like a habit. And I want to build habits. So my goals are every day. So I want to do these 3 goals every single day to build that consistency and that momentum when it comes to them. So the very first one is journaling every day, a journal entry. And that could be either from I actually got this from one of my best friends for my birthday. It's called the Wild Unknown Journal. And it has like just it's very creative and it's like whatever you see you just kind of journal about it. So like if you're watching the visuals, I'm showing a picture right now and it's like it's a visual and it says daydream. And so whatever comes to mind as I'm looking at this visual and I'm thinking about the word daydream, journaling, drawing, whatever comes to mind with this. So I want to do this for 14 days so that it can help out with my creativity to boost that momentum going and just the mind, just kind of adventure and wherever my mind goes. So that's one for my mind. My body, yoga daily. So it's hard for me to get into the gym and I feel like in order for me to be consistent, I need to be able to introduce my body to some form of physical movement. So I do have a yoga mat. I have like the yoga blocks. I have yoga positions. So every day, every morning, waking up and starting my day off with yoga, ending my day off with a stretch, which could be considered yoga for some. But so being able to start and end my day off with a physical something that's just kind of stretching out my body to prepare my body to know that hey, we need to get the physical movement going. And so my soul would be to align myself daily, check in with my chakras, check in with what do I need to do to make basically I always say activating my senses. I always say that I activate my senses or I'll try to bring my senses down when I'm hyper sensitive to things. So the same thing when it comes to my chakras, checking in with myself, making sure I'm doing something every day for each chakra so that I'm aligning myself because I want to be able to have that balance and that consistency going across the board. And I feel like in order to do that, when it comes to my eating habits, when it comes to my motivation, when it comes to all of that, I feel like being able to align myself is going to be the very first step to be able to do
Yeah.
that. So yes, mind, body, soul, every single day from journaling to stretching / yoga to being able to check in with my chakras and do something every single day for each chakra to make sure that they're aligned. Those are my goals for it. So, like I said, Jay and I, we struggle with being able to stay focused. We struggle with being able to be consistent. So, being able to drink this Magic Mind is the world's first productivity shot hoping that it's gonna help us clear our distractions away because I get distracted so easily from. I'm not even gonna go into it because I'm getting distracted just thinking about being distracted. So taking this shot over the next 2 weeks and being able to keep you guys updated when it comes to how this product is impacting us. So not only is Magic Mind a company that is going to help us commit to us being our best selves, but they are committed to being climate positive, which is exactly what we need more of. Alongside of Magic Mind, we know that we can help to reduce the trends that are going with like the deforestation. We talked about that a bit in last week's episode. If you want to hear more about why Magic Mind is so committed to making sure that we are giving back to the planet, go listen to last week's episode because we talked more about it. And I don't want to go too much because we want to keep it going. But being able to get ahead of what's going on, push for the it's the project that they're doing, making sure that we are pushing for it to be what's the word processed faster. So being able to make sure that it gets along faster than what it is. When I was reading up on it, they started in 1999. They're estimated to be able to help out the Amazon rainforest by 2039, which is a long time. And so for every take 10K views that the hashtag 14 Days of Magic gets, then Magic Mind will make sure to donate $10 to the Brazilian Reforestation Project. So I noticed that Jay just got kicked out. I'm gonna wait for her to come back into the room. So you got just me for a little bit. What's up? What's up? What's up? So yeah, being able to make sure that we are aligned up with what Magic Mind has going on is super important for us. And this shot right here, this little productivity shot of Magic Mind, going ahead and taking it together. And so we also know that as we're waiting for Jay, I'm just going to kind of walk us through the steps on what to do so you can get yourself involved in what we have going on for Magic Mind. And Jay's back. But let's see if she can hear us.
Yes, I can.
Okay. So you can hear us and you're back. I kind of just kept going because I was like, why not? I
Sorry,
was
guys.
I was gonna go into the steps that they can do in order to be a part of this challenge with us, but since you're back, I'll just kind of throw it your way because I'm having.
Sure, no problem. Sorry, guys, technical difficulties, but you know that we want our fam to be with us during this whole hashtag 14 days of magic. So here's how you can join. Make sure that you are going to go ahead and purchase a Magic Mind subscription so you can get these cute little bottles like we got. And you can stay just as focused during your journey of 14 days of magic. And you're going to go ahead and use our discount code hashtag for real 14, and then you'll get 20% off of your Magic Mind purchase. And that's a lot, okay? Because look, it's worth it. Secondly, you're going to go ahead and film your journey of you committing to yourself through your mind, your body, and your soul, just like we're doing, nothing different for the next 14 days. And then you're going to post it to Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube. And then you're going to use the hashtag 14 days of magic over the next 14 days. And then you're going to go ahead and submit all of your content to hashtag 14 days of magic link that we're going to leave in our description right here on YouTube and or podcast and in our link in our bio, or just hit us up in the DM. If you need it, we got it. We have the link for you if you want to join hashtag 14 days of magic. Then you're going to go ahead and submit it there. And on November 22nd, 11/22, it's a magical number, 14 days of magic. Okay. We're going to go ahead and announce our winner of the contest based on consistency, creativity, and your impact overall. And our beautiful winner will go ahead and win 1 month subscription to Magic Mind. And most importantly, you're gonna receive all of the views that you receive on your content are gonna be matched in cash prizes that are gonna be donated to the Amazon Rainforest Restoration Project. So that's a whole mouthful, but make sure that you're going ahead and go and hit the link in the bio so that you can get all of the rules and you can join us on 14 Days of Magic and help the environment. Now we're gonna keep it real with y'all per usual, and we're going to actually be consuming our very first day of 14 Days of Magic right here, right now, real time. We're actually gonna record it for ourselves as well so that we can post it right alongside with you all. And this is going to be day 1. So I've been saying I'm nervous this entire time. Woo, Lord. So cheers. You got
Okay,
yours
hold
open.
on. Hold
Make sure
on.
we follow the directions. That you shake it,
Oh,
then breathe and drink. Wait, let me shake mine a little bit more so y'all can see. Make
okay,
sure
we're
I'm
shaking it.
recording.
I don't know if you can hear it. What is it called? ASMR.
ASMR.
Okay,
ASMR.
so just
Girl, I
shake
gotta
it,
make sure I post.
breathe, and then we take that shot. Shot.
Hey, shot. Okay. This is not alcoholic by any means. Okay. Shake. Breathe. You ready to breathe with me?
Wait,
Breathe
hold
with
on.
me, sister.
We're gonna breathe, take a deep inhale, exhale, and then shot.
Okay. Day 1. Breathe.
All right.
Tastes like matcha. I mean, it
Yeah,
got matcha in it, but it tastes like matcha.
yeah.
Okay.
That was bad enough.
Yeah.
Like
If you can throw back Casamigos, you can definitely throw back a Magic Mind and
for
get
sure.
yourself ready for the next 14 days of magic. So we're going to keep you guys updated and make sure that you see all of our trends. So make sure that you're following us on at nbfr podcast so you can get all the daily updates. And also make sure that you're tuning in every single week so you can see how we're feeling after 7 days.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so now that we just took our very first shot, remember, consistency is my goal with this shot. This shot, I am speaking it now. I manifest. I am speaking it now. This, as I am taking it for the next 14 days, is going to help me become more consistent. And as we are building that consistency, yes, it doesn't come with ease, but we do know that it's going to help us get closer to who we want to be. And so now, Jay, as you were noticing those internal changes that was happening with you as you were saying like you were in that stage of bargaining and you noticed that you were changing, what did you have to do to help you reach acceptance?
Oh, child. Um, a lot of times, like you said, this is not a linear journey by any means. It's all over the place. And I had to for myself. I didn't start realizing it until I go to therapy. A lot of my emotions I could only identify through anger. So I didn't understand the emotion. I just knew I was mad. So a lot of people just painted me out to be just angry because I was like, because I didn't understand that behind that anger was actual real emotions connected to these real thoughts connected. And I'm not saying that anger is not a real emotion, but usually it's connected to another emotion.
Yeah.
So I was sad, I was upset, I was nervous, I was scared of the me that I was leaving behind. And after bargaining, it usually comes in anger. Like I'm comparing myself and I'm like, why aren't I good enough? Why aren't I good enough? Not mad. Now I go back to my old self. So now it's okay. Now I'm going back and I'm not changing and I'm not growing and became very cyclical. So what it took to get to acceptance for me was to finally get out of my comfort zone. And I hate to say it so bluntly, but it's the Aries in me. Just go do the next version of myself. So for a lot of people, I know that's not gonna work. Like it's a lot more, mental thought. But for me, it's like it's either do or I won't do. That's literally it for me. Like I have to tell myself the next morning I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna be this different version of myself. And whoever does not accept it, that's on them. And that's it. It's always been like that for me. It's never really a gray space where I'm like, how do I get from point A to point B? It's like after bargaining, I'm mad. I get sick of being mad, and I'm like, I'm gonna be this. I'm gonna be a bad bitch tomorrow. That's that's it. That's it. That's all. The other J dead. Y'all don't get her no more. I don't know. Still, y'all. That's me all day, and I don't know if it's just that area. It's just like, well, sorry, not sorry. So yeah, it doesn't for any stage of grief for me. Even with like losing a parent, that's how it was as well. Like bargaining. I had it. Why couldn't it be like this? Why couldn't I'm mad now. Everybody else got a parent, so I'm angry. Then it's like lots of angry, lots of throwing, lots of panic attacks and being upset with myself. And then it's just like, you know what? This is the hand I've been dealt, and we got to move forward. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, I can be as mad as I want to be, and I can go back if I want to, and that's, it's only going to change me, and that's okay. At the end of the day, I have to accept the fact that that's okay, and accept the fact that it's okay to be angry, and accept the fact that it's okay to feel like you're going in reverse. But shit, it's just the hand that I was dealt, and that's literally how I have to, that's what I have to accept. It's the hand that I was dealt. Yep.
For anyone who's listening to this and you know who her mom is, and you know like the energy that she comes with, that was her right there. Like that was it. I felt like Tanya was coming out and you Tanya was like, girl, get over it. The world's still moving. The world's still going.
Don't take it too serious, bro. You just gotta keep this is what you got. It always makes me think of like my brother used to be really anxious when we were growing up. And he used to be, when we got on planes or anything, it was always a what if. I'm like, Mommy, what if we do this? Mommy, what if we get on this plane and we die? Well, we die. Literally, like, to that point of like frustration, Tanya automatically interacts with me. Like, that's what's gonna happen. When we get to that point, then you die. Like, what else you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. You just gonna ride the wave. Like I said the last episode, you gotta accept that that's who you were back then. And for me, at least, I'm not saying it's everybody's journey. For me, it's just best to say, okay, that was that girl yesterday. Loved her yesterday, but she was yesterday's Jae, and she can't come.
Mm-hmm.
She can't come. There's not no space for her on this flight. I don't know what to tell her. So yeah, tough love my way into it. That's just me.
Yeah. I think for me to reach acceptance, I said this in the last episode as well on how I was able to kind of cope with the changes that was going on, but just being aware. So that awareness of everything, that awareness of why I'm changing, who I'm changing it to be, and how is that going to impact what I have going on. Being able to take the perspective of others and showing empathy and like how that related to my change. Because like I said, a lot of times when I'm grieving, I'm grieving because I'm grieving for others. It's almost like I don't grieve for myself. I'm grieving for the other person because I'm like, dang, this person was expecting this out of me, and that's not who I am anymore, and I can't give that to them anymore. So how can I? What can I? And then it was that awareness of it's okay for that person to miss who you were, because if that's what they missed, and that's what they missed, that's out of your control, that's for them, it's okay. And showing empathy in that and acknowledging that change in myself was important. So that awareness was important to help me accept, okay, it is what it is. Either people go like me or they're not, and I'm not for everybody. Going back to what we talked about in like the very first episode, I want to say we talked about how one of my biggest lessons in life was when you say like you can't be everybody's everything. So that awareness of I can't be everybody's everything. So even if I'm changing, then that it's not even fair for that person to expect me to even be the same person that I originally was, because I am not their everything. Like I'm not obligated to be their friend therapist. I'm not obligated to be that person who has to answer the phone call every single time you call and drop exactly what I'm doing. So it's like being able to, some of those things I did do before, but falling back from some of those things is okay too. So just being aware was helping me get to that acceptance.
Yeah, and with that, I feel like we have to find ways to free ourselves of other people's expectations as well when it comes to, losing parts of ourselves. Because I feel like that oftentimes does make us go back, because we're so wrapped into like, this is what they expect me to be. So, but a lot of times, like I said before, a lot of times it's not even what they're thinking. We have to realize that too. A lot of times we're telling ourselves this, and I have this bad, like, I'm just putting words in people's head for them. Like, they never said this. They never thought this, but I'm just like, they're going to think I'm a terrible friend. They're going to think I'm not the same Jae, when really it's like, no, you're just not comfortable with the Jae that you are yet. And it's going to take some time, but and all in all, you have to become this person. Like, if the universe is giving it to you, it is what it is. Like, just accept it. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna suck, and your world around you is gonna look completely different. But it's like you can't get to become who you even dream of. A lot of times we want to be this next person. We want to get to where we want to get, but it's like you can't get there until you release your baggage, and that baggage might be the old you. So, like I said, you might have to drop off old Jay or old you in a different city and keep it moving. Sometimes it is what it is. It is what it is, and release yourself from those expectations of people or environments that you may have been in when you were the old you.
Yeah. And knowing, like we just said it earlier in this episode, just knowing that as you're changing, like it's okay. It's okay that you're changing, and it's gonna be the best for you ultimately. Like if you're handed it, if the universe is giving it to you, then it's for you. It knows that you can handle it. And so being able to grieve that old self is normal. It's a very natural, expected feeling to go through. And just know that that grief and that change, okay, you're turning out to be the best version of yourself, just like we are for the next 14 days of magic. So make sure that you go ahead and hop on this challenge with us, join our contest, go ahead and record yourself taking this shot of magic mine. I mean, mine is empty now because we already took it, but still, just making sure that you're a part of it and making sure that you are following us on all social media platforms, making sure that you are keeping up with us because we're going to keep you all updated on how Magic Mind is working for us when it comes to being productive, being able to concentrate, being free of anxiety. Because if you're listening, if you've been with a family for some time, then you know that I struggle with generalized anxiety with panic attacks. So I'm very interested to see how is this going to impact me when it comes to my anxiety and being productive, because a lot of times that's what gets in the way of my productivity. So go ahead, check us out, keep us updated on your process as you're recording yourself. Join the contest, and we will see you next time.
Bye bye.